button. Welcome. I'm so excited to be on here this morning, talking to some new friends that I've met and some old friends that I've reacquainted with in regards to the Global Healers Summit that's coming up in September. It'll be September the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th. It's an online event. And we want to get into that. We want to share a little bit of the details about that. But before we do, I really want to personally present to you some of the people that are going to be hosting this event. For those of you who don't know me, you've not participated in any of my live broadcasts before, I'm Janet. I'm a quantum healing practitioner, and I help take people to the uncharted waters of who they really are for healing, for spiritual awakening, and for transformation. And I do believe that that's what most of us do in this healing modality, in our different healing modalities that we all have come to love. Most of us in this industry do what we do because we love people, and we want to help turn people to themselves and to their gifts and to their power and their talents and abilities. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Today I have Rochel, is it Rittgers? Am I pronouncing that right? Okay. I've got Jody Curtis and I have Fernandez on the line. We're all going to be sharing a little bit back and forth about how we got into this line of work and what we do to serve people. I think I want to start with you, Rochel. Could you just give us a little background of how did you get started in the healing arts? What led you to this? And then also, how did you get involved in Global Healers Summit as well?
Thank you, Janet. I first want to just thank you so much for bringing us to this platform and giving us an opportunity to share in this way. This is a really amazing place to be. So thanks so much. How did I get into the energy world, the healing world? I have 35 years in my background with sports medicine. I was working with the athletes and injuries for a long time. And so I was in the Western medicine world pretty heavily. And I was invited by a colleague in the institution that I worked in to go to a Qigong conference. And I was sold completely. I believed everything that they were sharing. And from that point forward, she never attended another conference, and I made it a lifestyle. So that's how the energy world began. And then as I was working with my clients and working one-on-one with people and helping them, just like you've talked about, my tagline that was given to me from Source was helping people rediscover who they're meant to be. Mm-hmm. And so I help them physically become well. I help them spiritually to become realigned. And I help them emotionally and mentally to release their emotional traumas, their backgrounds that have been holding them back in so many sort of imprisoned ways. And so that's kind of how it's evolved, but it's become such an amazing gift. I didn't realize that the gifts from Source come so fully when you really begin to focus in that way. And it's been so exciting to see the shifts that happen for people when I'm working with them. And I don't take the credit. I give the credit to Source, and I'm the vehicle that allows it to come through is what my feeling is. And so people have miraculous experiences happen as a result of just this vehicle, that I'm allowing to come through me. And it's been just really exciting.
Thank you for sharing that.
Getting into the Global Healers Summit. We all have been involved with a group that did the summit before. Mm-hmm. And they've gotten so busy with their world with Gerald and Allison Rogers is who it is in their legendary work. And they invited the three of us to take over the platform, and we jumped at it. I mean, why wouldn't we? It's so exciting. So it felt like it sort of fell into our laps, but it's been just really exciting to bring forth this energy, this movement to the world to help everybody realize that their healing is within them, that everything, that's not to say you shouldn't use the medical facilities for sure, but the mindset, the energy, the essence is all within you to become well when you have someone assisting you to help you understand that. And so this is so exciting for us to bring this forward, and aligning with the frequency of health is what our theme is for this year. And it feels so right for the timing in the world right now.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that we were talking about before actually coming live onto Facebook was that people in the world seem to be so very hungry for spirituality. They're hungry to know themselves in a spiritual way. We've spent decades focusing on learning about spirituality, but not really experiencing it. We turned it into a curriculum for sure, through religion, and that has served a purpose for sure, and it has its place. But aside from that, or I guess above and beyond that, people are really hungry to experience themselves in a spiritual way and experience the world around them, be that the creator of all that is, or deity, whatever deity is to them. There's a lot of different ways to define this and describe it. And we're starting to recognize that it's all semantics, right? Like there's a million different ways to describe what spirituality is and what the spiritual journey looks like, and what healing really looks like and how wholeness is achieved. So with that being said, I want to go to Jody. Jody, would you be willing to share a little bit about your story? How did you get involved in the natural healing arts, and also what led you into the Global Healers Summit as a facilitator and a host?
Okay. Well, thank you, Janet, for having us on today. And I was thinking about this last night, and really, I think my journey began when I was a young child because my parents had a spiritual group that they held in our home. And so from the time I was 5 or 6 years old, I would get to participate in this group. So I think it was an early seed that was planted. And then as life goes on, it got really busy. I was working in the entertainment field, and I got stage 4 lymphoma, blood cancer, and went through chemo and everything. And so really for me, it was a gift that kicked off the last 20 years of an unfolding of learning about natural healing modalities and a journey inward to recognizing that connection for myself to source energy. And I think kind of goes hand in hand, as you're developing these tools, you're recognizing that you are indeed connected to whatever this, energy is that gives us life. And like Rochel said, when the pandemic hit, we all went online and met these amazing different groups of people from around the world. And what I found fascinating is as these groups together were learning new tools for their toolbox and practicing new modalities that we were learning from each other, people were healing from every country, right, in every way. And this was when when the hospitals were closed and people were forced to rely on, the things that they could to create health and wellness. And that was another thing that I think is important, is during that time when a lot of people were focused on, contagious disease, we were focused on contagious healing.
Yes.
And, where you put your attention, that's where the energy goes. And so I've just continued to grow in my awe and respect and reverence for the miraculous nature of the human body. And in what I teach, we talk about they're ancient Tibetan teachings, and they say, I give thanks for my body, the transcendently beautiful, the infinitely intricate, and the most gloriously accurate instrument in this universe. My body, the temple of the living God. And so I live my life as much as possible, by this understanding that we are primed. Our body's always seeking balance and wholeness. And so given the right tools and understandings, we can activate vibrant health and energy within ourselves. So.
Oh, I love that. And, I keep thinking, as you were talking about the pandemic and everything, I kept thinking, thank you, COVID. Thank you. Thank you for what you did to facilitate deeper levels of awareness in ourselves, to help us facilitate the exercising of our free will to not choose and buy into fear, but to choose and buy into love and the perfect brightness of hope, and using our bodies as vessels for spiritual awakening and awareness and growth and connection as human beings. Like, thank you, COVID, for this platform that you've provided. It's been the catalyst and the instigator for a lot of this, the up-leveling that's going on in humanity right now as it's continuing to go on. So I'm grateful. I personally am grateful for the 25 years of health challenges that I've had as struggling with autoimmune illness and having to come through that. It was the catalyst for me to become way more self-aware, to become way more spiritually connected with divine source and with myself. So I am actually very grateful for how my body has been communicating with me. And so I appreciate what you said about how this is affecting and impacting all of us. Do you find that we're starting to change our minds as human beings as to what healing really is and what business looks like in the healing industry? Like, for so many years, we've been preyed upon by different models of healing. And that's all starting to change now. Have you noticed that? Has any of you guys noticed that shift that's taking place?
Yeah.
It feels like people are becoming more understanding that maybe the big business aspect and idea isn't always in their best interest. And I feel like more and more people are recognizing that. And unfortunately, or fortunately, they're starting to recognize that even in big business, that the holistic realm is what people are interested in. And I love when I see, for example, hospitals, initiating things like healing hands and quantum touch and other energy types of healing, that they're getting recognized in the insurance realm, which is the difficult part for so many of us in the holistic world, is that, many insurance companies are not recognizing our gifts and what we're offering. And so people don't want to pay it because they've gotten into that psychology of, the insurance company takes care of me this way, kind of thing.
And I would just like to add also that these healing modalities we're talking about are thousands of years old, proven for thousands of years. So it always has struck me as funny that, we talk about modern medicine that's only really been around for like 125 years, when in fact these other modalities have worked for countless numbers of people in multiple cultures for thousands of years.
Yes, thank you
Glad
for that.
they're coming back.
It's a great point.
Yeah, it is nice to see the comeback. I have noticed too that through myself and through my own clients that I work with, a large part of their of spiritual awakening, or I guess progressive movement on their spiritual path, happens through the physical body. It happens through the catalyst of, something's wrong with my body. Like Jody said, she developed stage 4 cancer. And personally, I have had lots of health challenges. I just came through a heart attack. But what people don't know about that is all of the miracles and all of the spiritual awakening and awareness and beauty that came through those experiences that we've had with our physical bodies. So we often learn that spiritual teaching happens through the catalysts of the body and bringing that body back into a state of wholeness. I would love to give Anne Fernandez an opportunity to if you would just introduce yourself, tell us how did you get into the healing modality that you do? What do you do? How do you serve your clients? And then also, how did you get involved in the Global Healers Summit?
Sure. Well, first of all, again, thank you, Janet, for having us on and knowing that you're also going to be speaking on our Global Healers Summit as well. So I'm excited about that. And I just want to say that I love my two co-hosts here. We have definitely bonded over the last couple of months, and very excited to keep expanding my own personal platform, which Global Healers Summit is another way for all of us to just reach people and share our gifts. And, going back to what all of you said, it seems like all of us healers have had some sort of challenge or experience that strengthened, what we already had, what was innate within us to become teachers and healers. And so for me, I also went through something similar like most of you and literally wanted to die, wanted to take my life. I was in so much pain and so much discomfort. And I went through this, woe is me, I'm a victim, and I don't want to live like this, and pretty much laid on the couch. And it took me about 6 months. And finally, one day I sat up and I said, what have you been telling your clients? And that terminology, physician heal thyself. And all of a sudden I sat up. I remember sitting up on my couch and I started meditating. And once I went into that stillness and got out of all the beliefs and the thoughts and, the woe is me, everything shifted. Mm-hmm. And I was in alignment of my own path, my own lessons, and why this happened. Because now when I work with my clients, I can walk in their shoes, so to speak. When someone talks about depression or physical pain or emotional pain, or even trying to find their way on the spiritual path, haven't gone through all of that, it feels like I'm walking the journey with them. I'm not just saying the words, I'm walking the path with them. So along those lines, wow, my toolbox is pretty heavy because I have a lifetime, right, of clinical hypnotherapy, meditation, Reiki energy work, channeling, journeying in and out of the matrix. And I know that I've told Janet this before, but it's only in this last year or so that I've decided to just fling open those doors and say, this is my experience. I can only share with you. And if something resonates and helps you to move forward on your path, then I've lived my purpose, so to speak. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I think all of you said it, that there's so much information out there. And my passion is about getting people to look within. We've spent our whole lifetime, all of us, in our outer world, right? And I came up with this saying the other day, wisdom whispers, knowledge shouts. And it was just like one of those quick downloads. And I went, oh, I like that. And so in order for all of us and all of our clients to really align themselves with who they are and walk their path, they have to go into that stillness. It's the only way that you can hear and come to understand who you really are and what your purpose is. So that's how I like to guide people, to take responsibility, to be empowered, so that at some point, they don't have to come to me anymore. They don't have to keep searching anymore. And, initially, of course, we all need that guidance. I still do. I still listen to great speakers and healers and always get something from that. But the key is to take action, to take responsibility, and to learn how to listen and trust and follow your own path. And I'm so excited about the Global Healers Summit. And I think my co-host spoke about that it was sort of given to us as a gift. And we just decided we're going to take off running with this. And so we're having speakers from all over pretty much. And I know Rochel and probably Jody are going to speak about some of our keynote speakers on there. So I hope everyone can join us, because this happened in 2020. And so this is the second time that we're doing it, and we're hoping to continue to do the Global Healers Summit. So please join us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Anne. Something that struck a chord in me as you were talking was there's nothing wrong with being inspired by other people's experiences. There's nothing wrong with sharing your experience. I know that for me, I learned about my own personal intuitive gifts by seeing it in others.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of gathering together, getting all kinds of different healers together, because we all have different gifts. We all have our own unique way or method or modality inside of us, based on what makes us special, what makes us unique, what our gifts and our talents are. And I think it is very inspiring to see people come together along these lines.
Absolutely. I so agree with that. And that highly resonates with me, that we could have 200 people listening to us, and each person, someone will resonate with that person. And it's always about, if someone can walk away with one tool, one thing they can apply, to their own life, then each of us and the 32 or 40 people we have on the Global Healers Summit will have done their job.
Yeah. I have said this multiple times before. I teach a class every Tuesday, and I say this to my students all the time. Could there be a more important work to do for humanity than to learn self-awareness, to learn the art of self-awareness, to learn how to go within, to learn how the divine works through you, to learn how to become a better version of yourself, and to learn how to have spiritual sovereignty so that you can think for yourself, act for yourself, reason for yourself, be an autonomous being. I just don't think there's a more important work than that to be done. And I do believe that that is what healing offers us as humanity, is the ability to step up, to upgrade into better versions of who we are as people, but who we are as individuals as well. Anybody else?
Can I just say one thing about that, Janet, too, that, and I have a feeling all of you agree with this. I just feel like at this time, and we keep talking about this shift in consciousness, which I feel has already happened, that it's all about action. So you've had 2 years of COVID, which, by the way, was a gift.
Yes.
A gift for everyone. And that's how I see it. It really forced all of us to really go within and be in silence and be with our own thoughts and emotions. However, coming out of that, we are being 110% supported by whatever you believe the energy is, your spirit guides, angels, the universe, source, God. We are fully supported right now. And so this is all about taking action and now putting into action what we have all gathered and learned during these last 2 years.
Right. Beautiful.
And I love that we've been expanded, because we were all pretty much, for me at least, I was doing one-on-ones, face to face most of the
Right.
time. But because it wasn't possible to do that, we've expanded our territory, if you will. And now our territory includes the entire planet versus just our local area. And so the opportunity, first of all, to meet all of these people internationally because of COVID, thank you, COVID,
Yes.
and also to expand our own ability to touch others beyond what we would have ever dreamed, has been really significant that way as well.
Collaboration, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we didn't know each other before this, right? Before
Yeah.
COVID happened, the three of us did not know one another. So
Right.
this is such a beautiful, beautiful gift.
Well, this is the perfect segue to transition then into talking a little bit more about the Global Healers Summit. We've talked about how we feel about healing and how we feel about our own personal gifts and helping others to wake up to those inner aspects of themselves. Let's talk a little bit about what students can expect to experience as they get registered for the Global Healers Summit. Can any of you guys speak to what is the cost? Where can they go to get registered? Who's going to be speaking? Let's just kind of open that up for a minute.
Jody, do you want to start there?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so the cost is $44 for 3 jam-packed days of amazing speakers from around the world. And we have 6 keynote speakers, 2 on each of those days, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. We have Dr. Smita Naram from multiple worldwide Shakti Ayurvedic clinics, speaking about these ancient secrets that go all the way back to Buddhist physician Jivaka. I personally have had wonderful experiences with the teachings that I've studied with them, called Siddha Veda, the science of success. So she, along with her son, Krishna Pankaj Naram, will be speaking about just practical everyday items you have in your kitchen that can transform your life today. So I'm really excited about that. We have 30 or more speakers that are very powerful with a really diverse, wouldn't you say, ladies, a very diverse
Yes.
group of people with just very, very different healing modalities. So we
Wanna
also
speak
have,
about Sheila.
Sure. My daughter's grandmother, Sheila K. Collins, she has written multiple books. She unfortunately has lost 2 of her 3 children, and this has caused her to create a life and a career out of the art of grieving, which is her upcoming book. And so she, like, she says she's done a TED talk that you can view also about grieving. And basically, it's something that we all go through. So it's kind of like one of those things that it's best to just get good at it, because none of us escape that in this lifetime. So she offers tools and practical tips and techniques for grief and how to move through that. And then her partner, Christine Gautreaux, is also going to be doing a presentation on some like interplay, interactive, improvisational healing work. So they wrote a book that they co-wrote together, which is Stillpoint, Self-Care for Caregivers. So for those people, which I'm sure we all can relate to, the people who do the healing work, like how do we care for ourselves, also. And so anybody else want to pick up on some of the other speakers? Wait, before, I just want to say I'm really excited also about Angela Montano. She is a lifelong friend. She was my acting coach in my 20s in Los Angeles, and she had the Sacred Actor Laboratory. She studied with Michael Beckwith and became a Science of Mind practitioner, and now runs her own worldwide prayer collective called, and so her talk is prayer medicine. So it's very exciting because she has a lot of wonderful stories about prayer. And then Faith Chinnock is going to be teaching about liminal somatics and nonviolent communication, which is also something I've been studying that's been very transformative for me. So, okay, now I'll turn it over.
That's exciting. Anybody else have anything that they want to share in regards to who are the keynote? Did we mention all the keynote speakers?
Okay, so the keynote speakers, Gary Malkin, who is a 7-time Emmy Award-winning composer, including composing the music for the movie Interstellar. So he's going to be one of the keynotes that is speaking about the frequency of just music and how it can change the dynamics within our own body through the frequency vibration. And James Gilliland, this is a name that some people know. So many people have followed him for years and years and years. He's been in the world for over 30 years, but he is currently the caretaker of ESETI Ranch, and ESETI stands for Enlightened Contact with Extraterrestrial Intelligence. So he speaks about the energetic shift and the changes that happen within us when we are able to buy into, I don't know if that's the right terminology, but to become aware that there's something else out there and that they are communicating with us as well as we can communicate with them.
Right.
Yeah, so that's James. And then we have Dr. Clint Rogers, who we are all just so inspired by. He wrote the book Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer and has been really promoting the concept of spreading love all over the planet, that love is the healing energy. And we are just so excited to have him on board because he has really created an international experience with his book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. So that's really fun. You spoke of Dr. Smita. Peter Sterling is one of our speakers as well, one of our keynotes, and he is a world-renowned harpist that received his message from Source in a deep meditation. He wanted to play the guitar, and Source says, no, you need to play the harp. And he kept fighting back and forth with him. And finally, he decided to play the harp. and he does amazing healing with harp energies for people. And I think he's got 12 albums out now. So he'll be speaking on again the healing frequencies of harp music. And he's also a renowned artist. He does amazing mandalas in stained glass, which is incredible as well. And that was 4. So we had, that's our six keynotes. And what I would like to share, and I didn't really share what I was speaking on, but in my own personal journey, I have been involved in the metaphysical world since I was a little girl. And everything was peaches and cream and roses and God is love and, everything's hunky-dory. But what I didn't deal with was my own inner trauma. And so I was still struggling even into my 40s with this sense of self-doubt, this overwhelming sense of I'm not enough and I'm not good enough. And, after all this training that I'd had, it just didn't make sense to me. So I went into meditation to find out what it was all about. And the universe showed me a picture. And that picture was when my father left and, family divorce, that kind of thing. And so when that happened within me, I created a story that I wasn't good enough to be loved by my dad. And so as a result of not being good enough to be loved by my dad, I held that within me. It instigated all kinds of, different experiences in my life that demonstrated that was true. And I found out I needed to get to bottom of that. So I started doing deep emotional trauma release for people. And as a result of my own journey. And so that's what my main work is. Once we get the trauma released, then we can move on to the massive growth from a spiritual standpoint.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that thank you so much, Rochel, and Jody and all of us for what we shared about ourselves personally. But what I'm so excited about, and I think you guys said, is diversity of the people on this Global Healers Summit. And each of us have brought in speakers and presenters. And I have a psychic medium that's going to be on, and then someone that's going to talk about the best place for you to live for abundance of joy and good health, and just on and on. The list is so diverse and so wonderful. And as a matter of fact, I think, Janet, you're going to be speaking as well. And Janet, as you all know, is a quantum healer. So if you want to take a second and talk about you being on the Global Summit as well.
Yeah, well, here's something interesting. As you guys are all talking and we're talking about some of the different topics that are going to be covered, I don't really know what I'm going to speak on yet, because I'm still feeling like there's a shift coming. I was going to speak like what's said on the website, I believe, is talking about 6-figure business strategies for healers and mentors and coaches that work in this industry. So that they can kind of up level and upgrade what they're doing. It's interesting because Rochel and I were talking about this just before we got on. How isn't it interesting to watch how the structure of business is starting to shift as we shift on this planet as human beings and humanity, and become more spiritual and more sovereign and more spiritually or more self-aware. The concept or the structure of business is starting to evolve and change. And that I believe that the businesses of the future will be kind of anchored, I guess, in the essence of what each of our individual superpowers are. We each have our own gifts and talents and things that we put out into the world. So I believe that the businesses of the future won't just be mundane jobs that we hate, but that it will be an expression of who we are as human beings and what we're here to give and offer. But that also it won't just be about climbing to the top and climbing on the backs of other people, but that it will be all about whatever you can do to put something of goodness out into the world. It's going to benefit all people, including you, but it's going to be I don't know, the construct or the structure of business, I believe, is going to change as we evolve as humanity. So
Janet, there is your talk right there.
it is right there.
I was so drawn into that. There is your talk.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's reminding me of the tagline, align with the frequency of health. I mean, health includes all sorts of things, not just physical health, but health financially and health in all areas. And when we're aligned with the frequency of that, then it cannot help but be drawn to us. We're like magnetic energy when our frequency is that of health and wealth and all of the good stuff.
Before
Each of you-
COVID, I started up a program, a certification program in my own company, and made a lot of money. Like right out of the gate, I brought a lot of people into that system, and it was a kind of a high ticket program. And my husband was like, "Could you do that again? I could be hired. That was amazing." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so the beginning of the year 2020, when COVID hit, God said, "Take the price tag off of that." And so I did. And for about 2.5 years, I didn't charge a dime for anything I was doing. I was just kind of giving it away, giving everything. And I learned quite a bit about that. But I also witnessed that when I was willing to, God was my supervisor, my boss, right? He was the provider. And I just turned it all over to the universe and let God provide. And I was just there to give. And interestingly enough, the resources that we were looking to provide for our family and our home base, our home base, they just naturally came in through all kinds of different places. It didn't have to be, someone didn't have to write me a check. It didn't have to come through the traditional means, but they came. I mean, we had a very, very, very abundant year, even though I wasn't necessarily charging for what I do. But at the end of the day, the light bill was paid, there was food on the table, and our needs were met, and then some. And so I learned a lot from that concept that I think the businesses of the future are going to look very, very different. It's going to be more about who am I and what am I here to give, and how can I facilitate that, and then just allowing for our needs and our wants to be met in the face of that. So
You're sharing,
I'm
you're
sorry.
sharing an amazing experience, Janet, and that is that you can create that energetic experience for everybody on the summit, right? And that is what we our mission is that each individual person that is speaking will provide an experience that helps to shift everybody who is watching that program.
Yeah.
And so each of the healers, they're not coming just to speak, they're coming to heal. They're coming to provide a modality for someone to actually have an experience in the middle of that event so that they can have their own personal shift. And so this is what, to me, is really exciting. This isn't just to get the word out that this is possible, but it's creating that possibility for everybody who comes to watch the Global Healer Summit. So we really invite everybody to come do that.
yeah, beautifully.
Absolutely. I agree with Janet. I agree with Rochel and everything that Jody said. And I do feel 100% that this time and the path I'm following is to just put all my energy and focus, my heart and soul into the gifts and the work, and everything else just falls into place. And I feel like when you trust that 100% and just know that it works, because the whole universe is here to back us up. Everything is here to support us. And I really do feel, just knowing all of you and knowing a lot of our speakers too, that that's the energy and the frequency that they're going to put out there to also help others walk that same path.
Yeah. So with that being said, I just want to bring out the fact that some of the people that are going to be listening to this broadcast, that are listening to it right now, we've got several people on right now. Maybe they feel a calling. Maybe they have felt a calling to put something out into the world, or to give of themselves along these lines of healing, self-awareness, spiritual awakening, serving people, helping people, either as a coach or a mentor. I just feel like this is a profound opportunity for people to, at a very limited price. I mean, really, for 3 days worth of this kind of high-end learning and inspiration and guidance from masters in their own fields. This is such a wonderful opportunity. So where can people go to get registered? What is the actual website again?
It's globalhealersummit.info, and we're on Eventbrite. So you can register on the homepage of the website. There's all the speakers and their bios are in there. If you click on their pictures, you can read about what they're going to be talking about. We're just waiting for the final little bios to come in, and then it should be complete. And I'm just thinking what a wonderful world this would be. Thank you to the Grand Reset, let's say, for, people. Imagine a world of people with purpose and passion and joy for what they have to offer, and being supported by, source to offer those gifts to the world. We also have, if someone is being called, that they say, I have something I want to share, we already have the 2023 speaker application up there, a speaker form application. I'll put that on the website as well. And so it's not too early if you're being called to submit an application and get in line for next year's summit.
Good. Yeah. The more sharing, the better.
Yes.
Yes.
Any chance that this Global Healers Summit could become a live event? I mean, as far as like an in-person close proximity type of an event?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes too.
Yes.
That would be amazing. I would really, really,
Uh-huh.
really love that.
That would be fabulous, wouldn't it? Yes, I agree with you totally.
So I'm going to give all three of you an opportunity just to do a wrap up, and then we're going to close. So take it away, Rochel. What are your takeaways? What are your final thoughts, final words?
Well, we are just so heart-centered in wanting to share this event with the world. And so anybody who's listening live now, please spread the word to everybody, to your friends. We will be offering literally many, many, many healing opportunities right in the middle of this event. And I don't know where else you can get that much excellence for $44. So once you sign up, you are available and open to have, be online for the entire experience. And also it will be recorded. So for 24 hours, you'll be able to listen to recordings if you might have missed it live. And then we'll have the entire event available at the end, as they do, so that if you want to purchase the entire event, you'll be able to do that. And I want to thank you, Janet, for this amazing experience. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Jody, go ahead.
Well, I just would like to echo what Rochel said. We're all very excited, and it's a passion endeavor for all of us, I'm sure. And we're just excited for all the talent that has immediately said yes to being a part of the summit, and they have such wonderful things to share. And I personally am excited to hear what everybody has to say. And thank you, Janet, for having us on. We love your show, and I love that you look so vibrantly healthy after coming through a recent health challenge. So thank you for getting on and doing this with us today.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And final words.
Yes, I just want to say that whether you are already walking a healing spiritual path and you've been doing this for years, or you have a desire and would like to step onto that path, the Global Healers Summit will be the perfect place for you, because like everyone said, there's such a diversity of people and so much knowledge and information that everyone will get something out of it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So to wrap up, everybody go to globalhealersummit.info right now to get your tickets. It's $44. You're going to get 3 days worth of learning from lots and lots of different amazing gurus on the planet. I mean, globally, these are just incredible people that can offer a premium healing experience for you. If this is something that you feel a calling to participate in, and learn more about, then grab that. We're going to post as soon as this video is done. We're going to post all the links that you need into the chat box, into the comments box down below. Please feel free to like it, share it, comment on it so that Google, or not Google, but Facebook will deliver it to as many people as need to hear this message. So thank you everybody for being on. And as always, go have a blessed rest of your day. Mwah! Take care, everybody.
You so much.
You, Janet.